All righty, folks, good afternoon. Again, welcome back live here on the WHS Network on YouTube.com. Again, I'm Brandon Morvillius, alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. Third game of the day as your Wapahani Lady Raiders coming in now at 13-1. Will be taking on the Newcastle Trojans here in game 3 of the day. Pretty good day here so far here for Wapahani. They defeated Muncie Burris in the first game of the day, won that one by a final score of 25-11, 25-18 there in straight sets. And then a big game there against Yorktown to take on the Lady Tigers, in which Wapahani again won that one in straight sets as well, 25-21, 25-20. So we'll wrap up the day taking on Newcastle, which gave Yorktown a very big run for their money. That game ended up winding in 3 sets, in which Yorktown ended up winning that game. The biggest thing now for Wapahani is come out here, continue to use the momentum and confidence that you've built through these first 2 games of the day, and hope that it continues to trend in the right direction for you. You know, we've played very solid all season long. Same deal here today. We've stayed the course. We've gotten ourselves into a little bit of trouble a couple different times today, but we've found our way out of it and regrouped and continue to be very promising. And that's what's got us to 2 straight victories here today against Muncie Burris and Yorktown. So now you face a Trojan team that you haven't played so far this year. The other 2 teams you have already. You don't necessarily know a whole lot about them, but the good thing is that, again, you've come out here, you've won 2 consecutive games, and you got some good things going your way. Newcastle, same difference. So we'll see what happens. It'll be hopefully an exciting ball game. The first 2 games have been. And again, we just appreciate you all for staying tuned in here with us today. I know I'm sure all of you could probably be doing something better with your day, I'm sure at times. On a Saturday, you like to kind of get out and do your thing, but to watch us and support this Lady Raider volleyball team is very important to us, and we're glad you chose to watch the game here today with us. Also, we did want to let you know our next overall broadcast, we're going to try to do the game on Tuesday. Wapahani will be traveling to Shenandoah, a big conference game that will be there on Tuesday night. We'll try to get there to that game. We also have Wednesday night at home here against Madison Grant, and then Thursday at Randolph Southern. So another big week coming up. As we begin this third game, Briley Felton back there to serve here for Wapahani, and we'll start it off with a bang as Briley Felton serves an ace for the Raiders, and it's 1-0 to begin things. Say it time and time and again, this is such an exciting team to watch as Felton will serve that one out of bounds. Kind of just a little bit of a different atmosphere, if you will. You got a brand new coaching staff, essentially a brand new team at the varsity and JV level, and they're just an exciting group to watch. And it's fun to be able to broadcast exciting games, and so we'll see here as Newcastle is up 2-1. We'll see if the Raiders can have a perfect 3-0 day. Every game poses a different challenge. There's Luce, gets after it there to get it over the net. Now number 10, Bakos. Dug that one out just a moment ago, but Olivia Reagan will get the kill, tie it up at 2, and Macy Bowden will be back to serve. Tipped across by Martin. Now Bowden back to Luce again and out of bounds. So a couple of real nice setups there. Unfortunately there for Luce. Caught it off the side of her hand maybe a little too much. Had pretty good placement of the ball, just barely out of bounds. Bowden with a setup to Reagan, and they will get it over, and it will land in there for the kill. as that was off of Anissa Hall. So tied at 3, Olivia Reagan back to serve. And that's going to be an ace right by the defenders. Dug out there by Hall, set up, and put across there by Bergram. And there's Lauren Luce striking again as the Raiders now extend that lead to 2, 5-3. So you got McKenna Goodwin in here for the Raiders. Forgot to mention her just a moment ago. And served out of bounds just by a hair. So Stanley back in the Raider lineup. We will see number 4, Anissa Hall, back to serve for the Lady Trojans. Stanley, Bowden with a set up to Zitgraff, and that will be hit into the net. Tied at 5. Stanley with a dig, and Bowden sets loose and finds that back line. Well executed ball there. Real nice setup from Bowden. And the pass to begin with there from Gracie Stanley. So perfect job right there by the Lady Raiders on that point. As number 2 Martin sets it up. Here was Bowden. Now to Felton. Dug out by number 15, Deneve. Blank on the attack. Bowden back to Felton once more, and that's a 4-hit call on the Raiders. This game now tied at 6. We'll actually have a timeout taken here by Wapahani, I'm assuming. So even up here at 6 in this opening set. I'd like to thank some more sponsors here today. I'd like to send out a huge thanks to our good friends at Harris Chapel Church, including our good old buddy, Pastor Jim Ballinger, and his wife, Janie. Appreciate them for being a sponsor of ours, and just good people. Good, you like to associate and be around good people, and they are definitely 2 of the best, that is for sure. So greatly appreciate Pastor Jim and his wife, Janie, as well as everyone at Harris Chapel Church. Also, a special thanks to Stoops Automotive Group, Buick and GMC dealership. Again, ran by Randy Stoops. Again, located at 4055 West Clare Lane in Muncie, Indiana. More information, you can contact Stoops at 765-288-1903 and also visit their online website at stoopsauto.com. So back out of timeout here. Again, tied at 6. Felton on the attack this time around. Dug out by Hall. And that'll be tipped over that time by Bergam. And we're going to have a net violation called on the Lady Trojans. So point goes there to Wapahani to retake the lead at 7-6. And we'll have Ashton Zitgraff back to serve. Dug out by Hall. Martin with the set up there to play. Dug by Stanley. Bowden back to Felton. Tipped and blocked. And nobody able to get a hand in on the ball following the block. As this is tied at 7 with Peyton Plank back to serve. Served out of bounds there, and another point given right back there to Wapahani. Big point there, as we'll see. I think Olivia Reagan just came back into the ball game for McKenna Goodwin, and Gracie Stanley back to serve. Dug out, shanked backwards there, but kept alive as Hall will get it over. Bowden with the set to Felton, bringing the hammer there. Dug out by Deneve, and I believe There was a net violation, yes, called on the Trojans again. Hall with a dig. That was a real nice serve there from Stanley. Dug out of the net by Macy Bowden, but hit out of bounds by the Raiders. Good placement of the ball. You know, he was going to the right quadrant there, if you will, trying to find that back corner, but just enough out of bounds. And speaking of which, number 8, Bergram, will serve that one out of bounds to make it 10-8 affair, with the Raiders on top by 2. Briley Felton back to serve. And now we'll give another point right back to them. So both teams again in the giving mood. There's Stanley to Bowden. Now to Olivia Reagan, and out of bounds again, and now we'll be tied at 10. And another serving error, this time by Cam Deneve of Newcastle. So Bowden back here to serve, now finally breaking the trend there. Quite a few serving errors here within the last 4 or 5 points. Set there to loose and out of bounds off the hands of Alyssa Bakos. Dug out there and mishandled on into the net. The Raiders now on top here with their biggest lead of the day against Newcastle of 3, as the Trojans will now take a timeout. And we'll go ahead and stick right here with you again with the timeout. This is our FC Tucker, Muncie Rivers, Ted Cook, and Joanne Davis game break. Again, the Raiders lead it by 3 here in the opening set. Again, I've already said it quite a few times today, but we do appreciate you all for joining us. This is the first time we've done any kind of junior varsity game in quite a few years, actually. You know, it really got to the point. It's really hard to do any kind of junior varsity game because of the standpoint of, well, nobody watches the broadcast. You know, we want people to watch. You know, we want people to come out to the game as well. And it's not about supporting the girls or, you know, if we're talking about another sport, you know, the guys, whatever the case might be, because all of the players are important. It's just about the demand if people watch the game or not. And if people aren't watching the game, then essentially there's no sense in broadcasting. You know, because we want people to watch the games and to enjoy what they watch and to support the program. So that's why we haven't done that for quite a while. But I know the athletic director asked us to see if we could do it. He's out of town with his lovely wife, Marie, again celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary. I know some other parents really wanted us to get this in here today as well. So we're here to please people. We want to make people happy, and it's really been a nice day so far here for Wapahani, as they are able to nail another one home. They're now making it 15-10. Lauren Luce back on the attack there. Once again, Macy Bowden back here to serve. Miss pass right there. And Luce able to execute to a T on that one, as the Raiders now extend that lead to 6. Back and forth there for a while, but the Raiders trying to create some space, and that's off the hand of Stanley, laying out for that one. He loved the hustle, trying to get there in time, but unable to. Here's number 11, Peyton Plank, returns to action for the Trojans, and back to serve will be number 2, Kate Martin. Stanley there to Bowden, back to Luce. Dug out that time and set to Plank. Stanley now to Zitgraff. Dug out again there by Bergam. Hall on the attack. That's going to be 4 hits on the Trojans. McKenna Goodwin back into the Lady Raider lineup. And serving will be number 12, Olivia Reagan. And served into the net. So Stanley back in there. We'll see Anissa Hall back to serve for the Trojans. There's Felton to Bowden now on the loose. And blocked inbounds. Bowden unable to get anything on it. Did get a hand, but couldn't get enough to where you could do something with it. Felton with a dig and set back to loose again. Dug out by Martin. Set to Plank. Stanley. Bowden now to Zitgraf. And changing it up. Nicely done there. Set to Goodwin, and that sails out of bounds as well. And here come the Trojans. Now they only find themselves down by 3. The Raiders have got to get this run to come to a screeching halt, and well, the Trojans will take care of that for them off of the serving here. We've seen many more of those here, especially in this game. Not so much the first 2 games. Every now and again you might. But this set right here in the beginning of this game, we've seen quite a few of them as that one will fall in. That landed right on the line. Close call for the Raiders to decide whether they want to take that one or not. But sometimes when it's a close call, it's better to go ahead and take it. Rather be safe than sorry, they always say. Hall gets it across here. Stanley. Bowden now to Felton. Yes! Felton collects the kill, and the Raiders back at it now, up by 4 rather. We'll have Zitgraf back to serve. Dug out by Burgum, and now on the attack, Plank off the hand of Luce. And out of bounds, as we'll see now Peyton Plank back to serve for Newcastle, down by 3 in the opening set of the 3rd game of the day. 3rd and final game. Skipped over the top of the net in there for the ace. Hard to play that ball there if you're Bowden or Felton. Of course, got to be, I guess, on the balls of your toes, if you will. Got to have quick reaction, expect anything and everything. But still a tough ball to get to. Now we'll have a rotation violation called on Newcastle. So a big break there for Wapahani. Unfortunate for Newcastle, but definitely good for us, as we'll see Gracie Stanley back to serve. Dug out by Deneve and set up there. Trying to get it over the net right there was Bergen, but unable to get it to go. So the Raiders again back here in the driver's seat, up by 4. Looking to take this first set. And a miss hit right there will cost them another point, now 22-17. I think both teams still have 1 timeout each, which I'm sure if the Raiders put another one up on the board here, Newcastle will take a timeout, and that's an ace. And we'll see what happens. No timeout, so head coach here for the Lady Trojans just going to ride with it. He might have already used his 2 timeouts. I'm not sure about the one that was called earlier, if that was a timeout by Wapahani or Newcastle. Bowden sets it to Felton. And again, finding some open space is Briley, and the Raiders now at set point, 24-17. Dug out by Hall, set Tipped across. Here's Bowden with the setup to Olivia Reagan. And no one's going to get there. Reagan kills it here in the first set as the Raiders take it 25-17 over the Lady Trojans. We'll step aside here for a brief break. We'll be back here with set number 2 coming up live on the WHS Network.
Stop on in at Jones Auto Body, owned by J.R. Payne in the 1901 East Memorial Drive in Muncie, Indiana. Jones Auto Body is one of Muncie's oldest and largest auto repair and paint shops, in which they have been serving the community for over 30 years. Jones Auto Body, assurance of quality.
Welcome back, folks, as we get geared up for the second set of the day here between Wapahani and Newcastle. Again, as the Lady Raiders took set number 1, 25-17. Again, had that had it back and forth early on, and then Wapahani again, they just kind of kicked it into high gear a little bit. Newcastle came right back. I think we got it within a couple points there, and then the Raiders were able to string some more points together and end up coming away with a nice 8-point victory over the Lady Trojans. So again, they'll be coming back out here in about a half a minute or so. But again, we'd like to thank some more sponsors here today. Liberty Prairie Alumni Association, along with President Richard Morris. Liberty Prairie Alumni Association serves as the Wapahani, Selma, and Center High School alumni. Make sure to visit their online website at www.libertyprairiealumni.com to get any information on events and to purchase any Wapahani-related items on their web store. Also, they have the alumni brick walkway out here at Wapahani. To purchase an engraved brick, all you got to do is just simply fill out a form, go onto their alumni website homepage, and they'll give you more information on how to do so. Also, for any other information or questions you may have, you can contact Richard Morris on Facebook. So greatly appreciate the Liberty Prairie Alumni Association, a proud sponsor of us here on the WHS Network. As we get back at it here again, Wapahani, a very successful day here so far through the first, essentially, 5 sets now. This will be set number 6 coming up here in just a moment. But very happy to see, Wapahani continuing to do good here today. I mean, you've played against some pretty tough teams. Burris ain't bad. We just seen them a couple days ago. We've already seen Yorktown now 3 times. And this is your first time seeing a Newcastle Trojan team. So, you like what you've seen so far, and hopefully we just keep winning from here. We'll see as we start off the scoring here with Newcastle with a 1-0 lead. And it's going to be shanked over there to the side. Nice save there by Olivia Reagan right before it got to the wall. Set up to Hall, and Stanley unable to get there in time, and the Trojans lead it now 2-0. And again, back to serve here is number 8, Ellen Burgum. Zitgraf with a dig. Tipped right back down, saved, and Felton will get it over. Nice job there by the Raiders. Blocked. No, they're not going to say it was a block. It was 4 hits. So 2-1 ball game now with Felton back to serve. Dug out. Martin with a set up to Hall. Zitgraff gets over there to dig it out. Bowden now to Loose. Blocked, kept alive. That's going to be hit out of bounds by the Raiders. Pardon me now. 3-1, not 2-2. I guess wishful thinking. Felton will send it over to Loose and takes care of business there. Notches another kill here on the day there for Lauren, as we'll see Macy Bowden drop back to serve as the Raiders are down 3-2. Handled by Burgum, set to Hall, hit into the net. And just like that, we're tied up at 3. Burgum digs it again, tipped over by Martin. About the only place she had right there. Unfortunately, Wapahani couldn't be there to stuff her. Didn't block it right back at her, but nonetheless, Newcastle here with a 4-3 lead. Bowden will set it up nicely here to Loose. Off the deflection right there, back on to Hall, and hit well out of bounds. So McKenna Goodwin step back in here to the Raider lineup. We'll have Gracie Stanley back to serve. With the Raiders and the Trojans tied at 4. Not anymore though, as Stanley serves that one. Didn't get it over the net, unfortunately. Hit right off the top of it, came right back down. And now we'll have a lift call on Bowden. So the Trojans expand their lead once again to 2, which is now dwindled down to just 1, again following another serving error. It has been a game of those. Not so much necessarily on Wapahani side. Yeah, we've had our fair share, but Newcastle, quite a few of them here. As a hitting error there will again tie the game right back up. So Newcastle, a couple different times now, has gotten out to a 2-point lead. And things have went sour for them as Loose will serve in an ace, carving up the Trojan defense right there. Dug out by Deneve and set to Plank. There's Stanley with a dig. Bowden with a set to Zitgraff. Off the deflection there of the blockers. Plank back at it again on the attack. Bowden there. Stanley over to Felton. Deflected. Martin will find Burgum. Stanley again with another dig. Back to Zitgraff once more. Kept alive. Here we go. Back to Felton. And that will be in there for the kill. So Stanley with the assist right there. Set it pretty close to the net. Felton was looking for the hammer, but then had to change things up. Just barely tipped it over the net. Worked out beautifully as an ace there for Loose. Will get us a 3-point lead and another timeout taken here by the Trojans. First one here in the the second set. And again, our busy week continues, folks. We'll be at it on Tuesday, hopefully at Shenandoah. Not sure if we'll make that trip or not yet, but Wednesday we will be at home here against Madison Grant to take on the Lady Argyles. And then Thursday we'll be traveling to Randolph Southern, another conference game. So 2 very big conference games coming up next week for Wapahani, both of them on the road, as the Raiders look to stay perfect in conference play. Again, the varsity team, those of you that I'm sure have probably already heard. If not, then hopefully you guys watch the broadcast also. But the varsity team and the junior varsity team as well got two very big wins at Muncie Burris on Thursday night. After what was a very busy week, we had Tuesday at Hagerstown, Wednesday here at home against Eastern Hancock, and then Thursday right back at it with another tough game at Muncie Burris, in which the varsity team got a 5-set thriller victory over the Lady Owls. So if you haven't seen that one yet, make sure to get on our YouTube channel and take a look there at that game, as Felton slides that one on in there for another kill there. 10-6 Wapahani. Also, for those of you that have not yet done so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's all free. There's no cost whatsoever. Just subscribe and you'll get notifications upon our upcoming broadcast for each ball game. So make sure to do that. Follow us on our social medias at Facebook and Twitter. That's at WHS Network. So that's pretty much how you can find us and also get information on any other upcoming games coming up. So Lauren Luce proving to be deadly here with a serve so far here in this second set, as the Raiders have went on a 6-0 now, make it 7-0 run. That's just ace after ace after ace. So 7-0 run here by the Raiders. Nice save there by Burgum. Bowden will dig it out of the net, and Stanley will get it over. Martin now will set it on to Burgum once more. Here's Felton on the attack, and again, don't be standing in the way of the train when it's coming through. As Felton continues her nice day here today. Another timeout taken here by the Trojans, 14-6. Again, this will be our FC Tucker, Muncie Riveters, Ted Cook, and Joanne Davis game break. Again, we'd like to thank another one of our sponsors here today. I'd like to thank B. Joseph Davis, attorney at law. Been located at 400 East Jackson Street in Muncie, Indiana, at the law offices of B. Joseph Davis, which is a highly recommended and respected professional corporation. They strive to aggressively represent all their clients' interests in all phases of any legal matter. Their team has extensive experience in personal injury as well as criminal defense, which includes drunk driving, criminal record, bankruptcy expungements, and hardship licenses. For more information, visit his website at www.bjosephdavis.com. So the woes continue here for the Trojans. I mean, it has been a serving expose, if you will, here for Lauren Luce. Yeah, clinic. That might be a better word. Nice job there, Redbeard. It's been a serving clinic here by Lauren Luce here within these last 9 points. Looking for number 10 right here. Felton on the attack. Dug out by Hall. There's Bowden. Now Stanley sets Felton up one more time. Block kept alive, and the Raiders won't get it over this time, but that was a very nice run right there, putting on the board 9 points in a row to take a very cushioned lead now. And serving here by the Trojans will cost them a point there, and the Raiders again will retake a 9-point lead with number 10, Haley Smith, in here now, and Ashton Zitgraff back to serve. Nice serve there from Ashton. Put a little steam behind that one. Goodwin tips it over and hit under the net. is Kate Martin. So now the Raiders on top now by 10. Stanley now to Bowden, set to Felton, bringing it, and got it to fall in again. And Zitgraff will serve that one into the net. Now 18-8 with number 11, Peyton Plank, back to serve here for Newcastle. Obviously down by a sizable margin here, but wouldn't get too far ahead of yourselves, that's for sure, as Felton will hit that one into the net. Just want to make sure and finish this game, at least the right way anyway. You don't want to allow Newcastle to start generating any kind of momentum and coming back in this one, as Plank put a little too much on that one. Serves that one out of bounds, and the Raiders now 6 points away from taking this one straight sets, as well as Goodwin serves an ace. Dug out there. Here we go with the setup to Hall. Save there by Goodwin. Set over by Bowden just a moment ago. Bowden now with a set to Olivia Reagan, and that was off the blocker's hand. It looked to have been, but one of the line judges said that it didn't, but the call was overturned, and they did indeed call a tip right there, a point there for the Raiders, and now another ace. Very surprising to see how much really Newcastle was kind of falling off here in this second set. And this game at one time was tied at 6. Just think about that. That is a 16-3 run by Wapahani. Bowden sets it, and Felton tries to put it down there, but dug out by Hall. Bergen back on the attack there. Back to Felton once more. Hall with another dig. Good one that time there. Reagan there with a tip over the net. Bergen with a tip of her own, and some miscommunication there by Smith and Goodwin. We got Newcastle back on the board here now, 22-10 with number 8, Ellen Bergen, back to serve. And out of bounds. That was a good miss right there by Smith. It's about the only time you want to swing and miss on purpose, as that was headed out of bounds. And so Briley Felton back to serve. And another ace. It has been that way all day here in this set number 2, as this will be match point. Felton back to serve here for the Raiders. And that's going to head out of bounds, and the Raiders win it. And ironic enough, it's by the serving, because that is what proved detrimental here to Newcastle here in this game. Their serving got them into some trouble, and then the serving of Wapahani just literally carved them up. So again, you got to give credit where credit's due. Good win here for Wapahani. Great wins overall here on today. A perfect 3-0 here for your Wapahani Lady Raiders. Again, here as they take down Newcastle in straight sets. Again, we'll give you the lowdown with all 3 of these games. Wapahani beat Muncie Burris in the first game today, 25-11, 25-18. And then right back at it against Yorktown, in which the Raiders won that one 25-21, 25-20. And then finally to wrap it up here, 25-17, 25-10 victors over the Newcastle Lady Trojans. So it's been a great day of volleyball, folks. Again, we appreciate you all for joining us here today. 3 games here in roughly about 3 hours we've been able to accomplish, and these ladies have really accomplished a lot now. Wapahani now 14-1 on the season. 3 very big wins here today as they continue to push their, goal of continue to be excellent this year, and they've been excellent and a lot of fun to watch. You know, again, like I said earlier, this is our first broadcast for the junior varsity team, not only this year, but first one we've done in years. But they're a fun group to watch, a really nice group of young ladies that definitely work hard and stick together, and it shows. You know, they've came out here and done a lot of great things here this year so far. They have many more great things to accomplish, that's for sure, not only at the junior varsity level, but the varsity level as well. But congratulations again there to your Wapahani Lady Raiders. Perfect 3-0 here on the day in the 2019 Wapahani Junior Varsity Invitational. Again, they will be back in action next on Tuesday, again, as the Wapahani Lady Raiders will be traveling to Shenandoah on Tuesday evening, September 17th, 6 o'clock start time for JV varsity game to follow. We'll try to get there to broadcast that game. Again, as I've already mentioned several times, Tuesday at Shenandoah, Wednesday at home against Madison Grant, and then Thursday at Randolph Southern, all with a start time of 6 o'clock for the junior varsity and varsity games to follow. So we appreciate, again, all of our sponsors here today, and we hope you have enjoyed listening to myself and Redbeard doing the camera work as usual. Hopefully everything was all good for all of you fine folks to watch, and hopefully it was good and interesting and everything in between. So, folks, until next time, Brandon Morvillius alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy saying have a good day from Raider Gymnasium.